I want to show you why food and data go very well together. And even better so if the underlying digital business models are built on trust. My name's Kai. I'm co-founder of Twins Foundation based in Belgium. We develop open source software around digital identities, and our main sector is food. We are also part of a European Commission funded research project called DRG for Food, where we think about digital business models, responsible digital business models for the food sector. Now, let me tell you why we need to think about digital business models in the food sector. What are the challenges the food sector is facing? Now, first one is food safety and security. This is something that we've always worked on, but maybe sometimes took for granted. Now, global crises like wars, but also the COVID pandemic have taught us that we shouldn't take it for granted. Sometimes there are shortages of certain produces, and those can be tackled with digital approaches. Second, we're facing issues with low sustainability and too much food waste in the food industry. This is not only a matter of sustainability, but it is also a matter of low economic efficiency. So we need to think about how to avoid that we throw away 1/3 of the food that we produce. It just doesn't make sense. Then we've learned that with inflation, prices have been rising. So affordability and economic stability in the food system and in the food industry became much more of a topic. And then last but not least, topic number 4, is about us as individuals, as consumers. Food has a high influence on our well-being. So nutrition and well-being are topic number 4 that are challenges and where we need to improve on how do we actually eat, what do, for example, ultra-processed foods do to our body, and how can we improve our health and well-being through food. Now, before I go further on the theory of what this could look like, let me demonstrate one example. And to do so, I brought some food. These are 2 staples that might bring you through the day, that might help you in a short coffee break, to continue your studies or continue work or do whatever else that you're doing. So, you crave some chocolate, hey, here's some biscuits. Or maybe you want to go for a bit of a more healthy option. You go for these ones. Whole wheat, can't be that bad. Whole wheat biscuits. Yeah. So how do you make your choices, right? One is, of course, what you're craving for. The other might be obvious on the packaging. So when you go to the supermarket or you go to your cupboard, what are you looking for? One could be, here, it says fair trade. Okay, that's good. I care about, not only the environment and the food, but also about good working conditions. Okay, fair trade. Not too bad. Then I see this one is vegetarian. Okay, so it caters to my diet. Also not too bad. Then I see a table with all kinds of nutritional values. They don't really talk to me, but what I do see is the Nutri-Score. Not too good. So it's the worst Nutri-Score. This one is better, much better, because it has a C. Right? Okay. So let's see what we can do with it. Now, here is where data comes into play. And I want to show you an app that I downloaded, and actually it's some folks we're working with in the project. What you can do is you scan the barcode on this product, and it tells you in a split second, so already scanned, tells me, okay, bad nutritional quality, I knew that, on these biscuits, on the chocolate ones. Hey, but there's something I didn't know. It has a high environmental impact. Not too good. Wasn't it fair trade and vegetarian? I mean, it was good, wasn't it? Now, it turns out it has palm oil, so not a good environmental impact. Also, this I didn't know, ultra-processed food, and it has 3 additives. So maybe not exactly the product I'm going for if I care about these items. So I might want to take this one, but let's scan this also first. It has, I remind you, a Nutri-Score of C, so not too bad. Let's go for it once more. Again, the barcode. Oh yeah, there it tells me it's the whole wheat. Okay, that's good. But here you go. It's also ultra processed. It has even 6 additives, so 3 more than this one. And what's also interesting, the way that the Nutri-Score is calculated here, and I can see all the details on this app, is that actually the Nutri-Score is pretty bad. The only way it turned out to be C, so somewhere mid-range, is because it has a whole wheat, so fibers, and they off-balance the bad nutritional quality of the sugar and everything else that is in this product. Unfortunately, it doesn't really tell about the environmental impact because it is not known, because high likelihood the producer doesn't supply this kind of data. And that's the value of digital, because you have it at your fingertips with your mobile phones. Why then is digital in food different to digital transformation in other sectors? Let me tell you the 3 reasons we observed. Number 1, the food sector has a lot of stakeholders, and they're pretty diverse. It is the biggest sector in the EU, and it has a lot of small and medium-sized enterprises, even very small ones. Think about where you buy your food or where you buy your lunch every day. These tend to be very small shops sometimes. And at the same time, it has some of the biggest giants of not only the industry, but of the economy. Right? Those are the ones that, for example, run the supermarkets. Right? Some of the biggest companies are there, but also food producers tend to be quite large sometimes and so small. Right? So you have this variety, and of course not just the producers and the ones selling it, but so many more. It's a complex system. Right? And don't forget, you as individuals are also stakeholders in this sphere. At the same time, it has a very low rate of digital transformation and data integration. And the third one, and that's an interesting one, but we can observe it almost on a daily basis, it can get very emotional if we think about food, because it does something to us as individuals, but you can also see it, for example, in public debate and discussions, how much, for example, introducing a veggie day gets people agitated. Right? How food is not just my personal choice, but it is something that has a societal dimension. Now, in the project, we've broken down the digital transformation in the food system into 3 use cases. The first one is personalized nutrition. How do I fulfill the diet that I choose? And sometimes we have to choose certain diets. And by diet, not necessarily it's about losing weight, but it can also be a diet that's related to a certain medical condition a person has. Right? People that are suffering cancer have to eat different things than an average, say, person. Or think about women who are in their pregnancy. They will also follow a different diet. So how can we help them to fulfill that diet? There's also other reasons for diet, like, for example, religious affiliation. Second, tracking in the food system, ensuring that a produce is actually where it's supposed to be from. How can I see where a produce is in the state of its life cycle? So that's tracking in the food system. And then the third one is consumer food choices. That's the example I've just shown to you. How do I make a choice? How do I know what's in the product, and how do I make my choices? Right? So nutritional food choices. One central insight we had through our research project DRG for Food was that data and food go well together, but even better so if we infuse them with responsibility and trust. What do we mean by infusing it with responsibility and trust? One, we think it's important for digital business models in the food space to be user-centric. Just like I believe as an innovator, each and every business model should be user-centric, but they're even more so, not only the business model, but also the data approach. Second, it should be based on principles that fulfill requirements of responsibility and trustworthiness. And in our project, we developed the digital responsibility goals that are almost like the sustainable development goals, but for the digital sphere. So you can look into them. How do I fulfill cybersecurity, privacy, data fairness, and algorithmic fairness requirements? And then the third one is you need to operationalize it. How do I bring these principles into practice? And here we believe that decentral, open, and community-based approaches are very promising. Just like Open Food Facts that I've shown you earlier is a community-based and open and a decentral approach to data, because there are people that are actually gathering all the data that you then have at your fingertips. In order to help bring this change about, in the project we developed the so-called DRG for Food Toolbox. You see the link right now on your screen. Have a look at it, because this contains enablers that will help you develop digital business models and digital approaches in a responsible and trustworthy fashion from the outset. We took an end-to-end approach. There's different enablers that help you at different stages of the development lifecycle, and some of them can even be built into the final solution. To summarize, here are the 3 points to remember. First, because of the challenges in the food chain, data-based approaches to food make a lot of sense and are very promising. Second, in the project we've shown, in our research project, that they work best if trust is infused into these business models from the very outset. And third, in order to achieve this and make it actionable, always think about the user and the consumer, because ultimately those are the ones that should trust the solution, any solution you're developing. Thank you. If you have any question or any remarks after this short presentation, please connect. You can find me on LinkedIn or contact me otherwise through the University of Applied Science here in Munich. I'm looking forward to getting in touch.